Hey there, so this is a tutorial video that's going to walk you through your portal, what you need to do to get set up and how you're going to be accessing things within your portal on a day-to-day basis. Now this video is just a temporary tutorial video. Long term there are going to be individual topics shown on the portal itself. I will show you where that's going to be in a minute, okay? But for the time being, if you just make sure you watch this video, it will walk you through everything you need to know. So the first thing is, in a few days, you'll be sent an email with a link within that email, okay? This is the link you need to access your portal, okay? So the first thing we need to do is click the link, which will take you to this page. Now the first thing you might notice is at the top of the page, this web address is different to the link I've just clicked on. That is because I'm currently updating some elements of your portal. So this is just a temporary web address that I'm using to access the portal for this tutorial video itself. Okay, so the first thing you need to do before we actually log in, okay, is that we need to save this web address to your device. So that'll mean that you don't have to always log into your emails to click on the link. Okay, so this might be different depending on you've got an Android, iPhone or iPad, but essentially we click on the share button to the right hand side of the web address, and then on my iPad here, if I scroll across, you'll see add to home screen. Doing this will basically mean I can add this web address as essentially an app on my tablet. So you can see here, rather than having to go into my emails all the time, I simply click on here and it will take me automatically to this login page. It'll be a little bit easier for you to access every single day, that's all, okay? So in that original email you get sent with the link to the portal, I'll also include your email address and temporary password that you will need to log into your account. Okay, so I'm going to log in using a temporary test account, so just bear with me for 1 second. So if I enter the email address, and then temporary password, and then click login. Now for the first time you log in, this is the page you will see. In the future times, you will just go straight towards your dashboard, which you'll see in a second, okay? But like I said, for the first time you log in, we need to now update your personal information. So we need to simply work our way through, adding a profile picture if you'd like to, selecting your gender, date of birth, height, weight, and your MyFitnessPal username, okay? Scrolling down, we'll then also be able to set a new password rather than the temporary one that I've set you already. So we simply work our way through, entering all this information. So just bear with me as I do this. If you select a profile picture, you'll be able to either take a new photo straight away or select one from your library. I'm going to select a random photo from my library. So if we go for one of Harrison. Gender is simply selected male or female. Date of birth. Make sure you enter it in the right format. So you can see there is an example. It needs to be in a 8-figure format. Scrolling down, height. This needs to be in centimeters, not in feet and inches, please. Weight, again, it needs to be in kilograms, not stones and pounds. And then MyFitnessPal username. This is really important because part of the portal uses the nutritional information you add on MyFitnessPal. So make sure you get your MyFitnessPal username. If you haven't got one, you can leave this blank and you can set this up at a later date. So if you've got one, great, enter the information. If you haven't got one, just leave it blank for now. Okay, I know what mine is, so I'm just going to enter that now. And then we can also, like I said, change your password so it's a personal password for yourself. I'm just going to put an example in now. Make sure you confirm it. And then right at the bottom we've got some terms and conditions. Now this is basically your personal contract you are signing up to, so make sure you click on the link, open the document, read through it, make sure you've agree to everything. If there's anything you're unsure of, send me a message, let me know, but I'm fairly sure you'll be happy with everything, and then you simply click that tick and click save. It will then take you to this dashboard, which is essentially your home page of the portal. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is talk you through how this works, what you need to be aware of on each page, and what you need to be doing on a day-to-day basis for your coaching. Okay, so before I go into the dashboard, the first thing I want to say is if you want to ever update your profile, for example, you might want to change your profile picture or change your MyFitnessPal username, for example, Clicking on the right hand side top avatar, that will bring up the page you've just seen, and you can just change the information on here. Okay, just make sure you click save if you ever do so. Okay, now obviously to get back to your dashboard, we've got the menu on the left hand side. This will also have the ability to get to any page within the portal, which I'll go through in a second, but we're going to go back to your dashboard and I'll talk you through what this page looks like here. So first of all, in this top left corner, we've got the progress so far section, okay? This is essentially going to show you your current weight and also your current measurements, along with the percentage change from your starting point. You can also update your measurements here, and you can also see your current, most recent progress photos, as well as adding new progress photos too. Now, in terms of the update measurements and the add progress photos, I'll show you that in a second, because you can also do that through a different page. So I'll talk you through that in more detail in a minute, okay? In the top right-hand corner, we've got your nutritional guidelines, so you can see how many calories you need to be aiming for each day, along with your protein, carbohydrates, and fat targets as well. These are going to be updated on a week-to-week basis, depending on how I assess your progress. So just make sure you keep an eye on these figures in case they change week to week. Below this is a recipe of the week. Here you'll be able to see random recipes that I personally are my favorites, and to access them you simply click on the image or click on view recipe, and that will open up a PDF of that particular week's recipe. Okay, so for example here we've got a spinach, onion and anchovy pizza. Okay, now for every recipe you'll be able to save it to your device. This may be different depending on if you've got an Android, iPhone or an iPad, but essentially click on the share button, top right again, and this time we scroll across until it says save to files. As you can see here, I'd then be able to save that PDF to my device, and I can read that again at a future date. Okay, but if I click the X to go back to the dashboard and I scroll down, you'll see the exercise schedule for the week. Now this is obviously based on what I set for you. You can scroll left and right and you can see the different days of the week and what I'd like you to be doing on each particular day for that particular week. Okay, the current day's workout is always going to be highlighted yellow. Okay, so for example, tomorrow that yellow box will move across to Saturday. Okay, now to access your workouts, you can click on any of these days. It will take you to your workout spreadsheet. Okay, but again, I'm going to show you what that spreadsheet looks like from a different page in a little bit more detail in a minute. Okay, but you can click on all of these days and it will take you to the same spreadsheet. You can also click at the top here where it says today's workout and it will also take you to that same spreadsheet. Below your schedule for the week, you've got a reminder of when you need to be doing your weekly check-in. Now the check-in process is a very important aspect of your coaching, as it will allow me to assess your progress week to week and then be able to decide whether or not I need to adjust your plan. It tells you which day you need to be doing it on. I've set an example that I need to be completing this form every Thursday. To the right hand side you can also see a link to the portal help and support page. Basically here you'll be able to see all of the most frequently asked questions and also your portal tutorial videos that I'm going to be uploading in the next few days. Okay, now pretty much every single link you see on this page here can also be accessed via this left hand side menu. Okay, the only one you can't access down the left hand side menu is the recipe of the week. You can only access this from the dashboard. Okay, so if we scroll up to the top left and we work our way through each individual page. Okay, so if we click on progress, that will take us to the progress page where basically we will see all of that information that I've taught you through on the first page in a little bit more detail. Okay, so the top half of the page goes through all your biometrics, including your body weight and your body measurements, and also gives you the ability to update your measurements as well. And if we scroll down, we've got a section showing you all your progress photos as well. So here at the bottom, you've got all the most recent photos, and then underneath, you would also have any previous photos for all of the views as well. You can also, from this section, add progress photos too. To begin with though, I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to show you how to add new measurements for all of your biometric sites. Because as you can see here, I currently have no data for any of these body sites at all because I'm a new client. So if we click on update measurements, on the right hand side, we can see there are two videos. Now these videos show you and walk your way through how to accurately and consistently take body measurements and weight measurements. So please make sure you watch both of these videos before you start to take your readings. The reason being is that we need these measurements to be accurate and always consistent if we're going to use the information from these body sites as a measurement of your progression. So, for the purpose of the video, I'm just going to quickly whiz through and add some random numbers just for each biometric. Then once I've finished, I just simply click submit. As you can see now, all my measurements appear here and have been updated. Now, for the purpose of the tutorial video, I'm quickly going to go through and add some more measurements just so you can see what the progression chart would look like in a second. So just bear with me for 1 minute. Just as a reference point, you can see here that all of the biometrics have the most recent measurement pre-populated when you're updating them. Okay, so if you're wondering what that figure is, that's the last figure that you entered for each biometric. So I've just gone through and changed some of those figures randomly, 1 or 2 centimeters up or down, just so you can see what the graph is going to look like in a second. Click submit. So that now, if I click on any of these body sites, you're going to see a graph showing the difference between your current position and your starting position. So for example, if I click on chest, at the top here you'll see your starting figure, your current figure, and the difference between the two. And then we've got a graph showing you the progression along with the dates. Obviously these are the same dates for the purpose of the video, but you would see different dates and different measurements. So you can see your progression in the form of a chart. So if I now click the X button in the top right hand corner, it will then take me back to the progress page. And I'm now going to show you how to add new progress photos. So if I scroll down, and then if I click on add progress photos, it will take me to this page here. At the bottom of the page, again, there is a tutorial video that will walk you through and explain how to accurately and consistently take your progress photos. So again, we can use them as an accurate measure of your progression week to week. And then up here at the top of the page is where you would upload your new progress photos. So you just simply click on the box for the front view, side view, and back view respectively, select a new photo and upload it from there. So I'm just going to very quickly do that now for you. Once you've selected those, you simply then click Upload Pictures. Now if I scroll down, you'll see those pictures have now appeared at the bottom for the respective views, along with the date that I've added them. Now if we also go back to the dashboard on the top left, they also appear here as well. Plus you'll also see those most up-to-date measurements as well up here in the top left corner. And just to confirm as well, if you click on the update measurements and add progress photos here from the dashboard, you will see the page I've just been to before, where you click on update measurements, you will see this page. And if I go back and then click on add progress photos, you will again see that same page I've just been to there. So you can access those pages each through the dashboard or the progress page on this left-hand side menu. Now if we move on to the nutritional page, click on that. And this is what you will see. At the top is the date range that this information is applicable for, and then beneath that to the left hand side is a copy of the information you see on the dashboard. So your nutritional guidelines, as in the amount of calories you should be aiming for each day, plus the amount of protein, carbs and fats as well, respectively. To the right hand side and below are two comparative graphs that go through what you've actually inputted on MyFitnessPal in the red columns against your target nutritional guidelines in the yellow, which are these figures here. So we can compare the difference of what your actual intake is compared to what I'd like you to be having. Now, the information on MyFitnessPal, as it says here, is taken from the last 7 days average on your profile. Okay, so it's not just based on the current day or the most recent day, it's the past 7 days average. Okay, so this gives us an accurate representation of what you're having on a consistent basis. If we scroll down, you'll see exactly those figures again, but this time in a table format. And as it says here, the computer system will update your MyFitnessPal stats every 60 minutes. Okay, so If you enter something on MyFitnessPal, don't panic if you then don't see it appear here straight away. It will update itself every hour. Okay, so check back in an hour and it will then appear on the graphs and in the table respectively. If we scroll down again, this Venn diagram gives you some food and drink examples of what you could consume to consume each individual macronutrient or a combination of the two. This is a really helpful tool if you're struggling to hit any of these macronutrient targets in these graphs here, as it gives you an idea of what you could eat to increase any individual area. So for example, if I click on protein, it will then show me some food examples of what I could increase, how I'd increase my protein intake. Or if I click on P&F, here, this will give me some food examples of what I could do to increase my protein and fats, respectively. Okay? So each individual section has different food and drink examples within them. If we scroll down again to the bottom of the page, at the top here are the links where if you haven't already got MyFitnessPal installed, you can download it for your device, both on the iOS and on Android versions too. Now, regardless of whether or not you've used MyFitnessPal before, I would strongly recommend you watch the tutorial video here at the bottom, because I go into great depth of how to actually use MyFitnessPal on a day-to-day basis, as in adding foods, how to create meals, and some helpful hints and tips of how you can make the entire process much quicker and easier to do on a day-to-day basis. So regardless of whether or not you're new to tracking your food intake or whether you're experienced in it already, I would suggest everyone always watches this video first before you start tracking your food for the purpose of your plan. Now if we scroll up to the top again and click on the next page down, which is training, we will see this page. Here at the top, again, you'll see the date range that this information is applicable for. Down the left-hand side are the days of the week. On the right-hand side are the individual workouts that I'd like you to complete on each respective day. Now, you can click on each individual workout and that will open up your workout spreadsheet, or you can also click on the View Workouts button at the bottom here. I'll talk you through this in a second. Before we do that, though, it's important we go through the Google Sheets section. So if we scroll down, here you'll be able to download the Google Sheets app for iOS and Android respectively, and then beneath this also create your Google Drive account. So this is really important because the way that the workout spreadsheet has been generated is that it's a live spreadsheet, which means that whenever either I or yourself add any information and update it, it becomes live for the other person straight away. So that if you were to enter your workout information, for example, at 3 o'clock, I would be able to see it at exactly the same time at my end. But for that to actually happen, you need to have a Google Drive account and use Google Sheets. So before we even look at going through these workouts, make sure you've got Google Sheets added onto your device. If you have got a Google Drive, brilliant. If you haven't, just make sure you click this link and create a free account. It doesn't cost you anything, and you just need the basic account, okay? Once you've got that set up and installed, when you click on View Workouts or any of these individual workout names, it will then open up your individual workout sheet. So I've got the demo spreadsheet here. So this is just for the purpose of this tutorial. Obviously yours would be specific to you as an individual with your workouts and your individual training sessions already put on. So the way it's set up is that there is a number of tabs on the bottom corner going across to the right hand side here, depending on which type of workouts I would like you to do. So if you're going to be doing any gym workouts, you've got a gym session. If you're going to do any home bodyweight workouts, you've got a tab for that. Any cardio workouts, you've got a tab for that. And this final one is your exercise library. Just as a reference point, please don't edit anything on the exercise library. This is essentially, if we click on it here, you'll see a list of all the individual exercises that I use with all my clients and the respective demonstration tutorial videos. So if you edit in anything in here, it will change which videos are viewable in your workout. So please don't edit this page. If we go back to the gym workout, I'll now talk you through how the spreadsheet is going to work, okay? So if I zoom out slightly, you'll see that everything is grouped as a whole workout. So what I mean by that is this section here down to row 70 is all one workout. Okay, now the number of individual exercises may differ person to person, but essentially everything's going to be grouped together as one workout. Then scroll across to the right, these are going to be repeated. So essentially this would be week 1 here, this would be week 2, week 3 and week 4 and so on, okay? So just to go over the layout of the actual spreadsheet and what you need to be editing yourself, at the top left of each individual week's workout is the date, month to change, okay? So just make sure you make a record of when you actually complete your actual workout. Beneath this is the order and your exercise name. So basically the order is the order and ideally that I'd like you to complete the workout. This will either be a number on its own, i.e. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or be a number and a letter, okay? If it is a number and a letter, it means that that particular exercise is linked with the next corresponding exercise as well. So for example, it might be 1A and 1B. So that would mean you complete both 1A and 1B back to back. It might be 1A, 1B, 1C, and so on, okay? So just make sure you keep a note of which exercises you need to be doing in which order and if any of them are grouped together as a circuit. The exercise name is the exercise name of the exercise I'd like you to complete. And then if you click on the play button, and then click on open link, as I'm going to show you now, it'll then open up a tutorial video of the exercise itself. Click on open link. It will then take you to a YouTube video that I've created that demonstrates the exercise I'd like you to perform. Okay, so this shows you the correct technique that I'd like to be using when you're performing that particular exercise. As I mentioned earlier, all of these video links are set up within the exercise library tab at the bottom. So again, please, just a reminder, do not edit this tab here. So for each individual exercise, you'll see the number of sets, number of reps, and the amount of rest that I'd like you to be doing for that particular exercise, okay? So for example, the sets is how many times you're going to repeat the number of repetitions, i.e., for example, if this was a press up and I ask you to do 10 repetitions, resting 60 seconds and 3 sets, it would mean you need to do 10 reps, you rest a minute, and you repeat it 3 times in total, okay? Where it says method, if there's any specific training method notes that I would like you to apply or follow, this is where I would put them on your workout sheet. And then you simply enter the information that you perform. For example, if let's say this exercise name was a squat, and you did 10 reps with 50 kilos. You'd simply enter 10 underneath reps and then 50 underneath kilos. Set 2, you might do 11 reps and 50, so you'd enter 11 and 50. And then set 3, you might do 9 and 50, you'd enter 9 and 50, and so on and so on. So let me just show you what would happen when you do that. As that example I gave you then, as you can see, the total volume automatically calculates based on the information I've entered. Now, the reason why this is important, not for your perspective, it's more for mine, so that if you were to then enter the same information in week 2, for instance, I'm just going to show what that would look like if, let's say, I did an extra repetition compared to week 1. So if I did 11 in set 1, 12 in set 2, and 10 in set 3. That's now, as you can see here, telling me straight away that you performed a greater amount of volume compared to the previous week. So that would, to me, suggest that you are progressing. It's basically a monitoring tool that I'm going to be using to keep an eye on your actual training performance. From your end of the spectrum, you don't need to do anything to do with this. This is more for me in terms of assessing your progress. So essentially, when you're completing a workout, all you would do is continue to work your way through the workout, filling in the amount of reps and the kilos for each individual set that you're required to perform, all the way through for the full workout. And then that would be workout 1. The next day, you scroll down, and you might be required to do workout 2. Okay, all the individual workouts have their names in the top right if you are confused of which one you need to be doing. All you simply do is confirm with your training schedule and then find that particular workout for that particular week.
And that's essentially how we'd fill in each individual tab on the spreadsheet. Now, if I click on the green tick button, always make sure, just as a reference point, whenever you edit anything, click the green tick after you have done so. That saves it to that live spreadsheet. So that means if I look at it at my end, I will see exactly what you've just edited. If I scroll down to the bottom, the body weight tab is slightly different in terms of its layout. So 1 second, if I open that and zoom out, it's the same layout and structure as in the fact that all the workouts are grouped together in boxes, and then you've got week 1, week 2, week 3, and so on, except the only difference is that because you're using your body weight, there's no kilograms to be entering for each individual exercise. So rather than just putting the reps and the weight, we just put in the reps or the time, okay? Very important, because of the way the formula works for the volume, if you were to do a timed exercise, i.e. the plank, don't put in, for example, 1 minute 30, you'd put in 90, as in 90 seconds. That way it will calculate all the time when you're completing each set for the volume. So just make sure it's either repetitions or time, as in seconds, please. Same process applies. You've got your order, you've got your name, sets, reps and time, and rest. And then if you want to watch any of the videos for technique basis, you've got the play button in the top right again for each individual exercise. So depending on whether or not you've got a gym program, a home bodyweight workout, you might have both, so you might have both tabs appear, or cardio, which I'm going to show you now, you simply work your way through each individual tab. The cardio workouts, again, the layout is slightly different, but you've got the date and the month at the top to be updating every single time you complete the workout. You've got your order again, so if you've got multiple cardio exercises to do within each workout, there'll be a number of different exercises repeated in the same workout box. The exercise name. If you have any interval descriptions, any distances, any particular type of training advice I'd like you to follow, it will be written underneath the exercise name, plus any rest periods I'd like you to be using as well. Then you would simply update this information, working your way through the time, distance, the level used, average pace, average heart rate, and total calories, respectively. Now, for some of you, this information may not be applicable, i.e. if you're going for a run outside, you wouldn't need to fill in the level used, okay? But this will be individual, and I'll guide you all based on what you need to be looking at on a personal level. Again, these two would be your week 1 workouts, you've got your week 2, week 3, and so on. And that's all you need to be doing in terms of the actual workout spreadsheet. Like I said before, whenever you edit anything, always make sure you click the green tick button, and that saves it to the live spreadsheet. So if I look at it at my end, everything that you've edited will be visible. So if I click back and go back to my web browser, which is here, that is everything you need to know about the training page itself. So just a quick recap, you've got your information here for your schedule, plus the ability to open your spreadsheets here, as well as along each individual workout name. And you've got the Google Sheets information at the bottom where you can download the app and also create an account if you don't already have one. Now, just as a quick reference point again, from your home page on the dashboard, if you remember, if we click on that, the schedule that you can see here, when you click on any of those days, it will open the same spreadsheet I've just shown you a second ago. So on the left-hand side menu beneath training, we'll see exercise library. So if I click on that, you will see a library of all the individual exercise tutorials that are also accessible along your workout spreadsheet. So if you click on any of the play buttons on your spreadsheet, essentially that's going to be taking you to these individual videos. Now, the reason why I've included this within your portal is that it's a really useful tool if you want to look for an alternative exercise or just add some extra exercises in. For instance, you might have a piece of equipment within your gym workout that is unavailable on a particular day, and you might want to do something different. So let's say, for example, the leg press machine is faulty and you can't use it even though it's within your workout. I would simply select the body part I want to work, which would be quadriceps. Scroll down, find quadriceps, and I might want to use another machine. So I would click equipment and click on machine, click on filter exercises, And I've now got a list of other machines I can use instead of the leg press, for example, that would still work the same muscle group. So it's going to be really useful, like I said, if you want to bring in some alternatives within your workouts. Plus, it means you can obviously access all these individual tutorial videos without having to open your workout spreadsheet. So that's everything you need to know about the exercise library. Moving down onto the weekly check-in, click on this page. This opens up the check-in form, feedback form if you like, that you need to be completing every single week on this particular day of the week. This is a really important aspect of your coaching plan because it provides me with feedback and an insight into how the past 7 days have been for you. All you need to do is simply work your way through the feedback form. It's very self-explanatory, very quick to complete, filling in your name and then your answers for each individual question along the way. Okay, and then at the bottom of the page, all you need to do is simply click submit. What I'd recommend you do is make sure you set a reminder, an alarm if you like, on your phone or somewhere that you see on a day-to-day basis telling you when to complete this check-in form, because if I don't get the information or the feedback from you, it will put a delay in respect of when I can give you my feedback to you, which is obviously going to have an impact on your progression week to week. Once you've filled in your weekly check-in form, and if you scroll down on the left-hand side menu to feedback, this is where my feedback to you will appear. Okay, so I will upload a voice note onto here explaining what I'd like you to be doing for the next week ahead, anything that might have been particularly good for the past week, along with areas that maybe need improving. You'll also be able to look at previous feedback as well. So the most recent feedback will be at the top of the page, and then beneath this will be your older feedback as well. So if you want to re-listen to anything or recap anything I previously asked you to do, you'll be able to do it further down the page. So moving on to the next page on the left-hand side menu and clicking on recipes, that will show us all the different recipes that are included within your plan. At the top of this page you can see a filter section where basically we can select which recipes appear below underneath. This is going to be a really useful tool when deciding which meals you want each day to make sure you stay within your daily calorie guidelines. For example, you can plan ahead and select which recipes you want to fall within a certain calorie guideline so you never overeat your calories each day. You can then filter these recipes further as to whether or not they include meat or seafood, and whether or not they're vegan or vegetarian. So let's, for example, say I'm planning my day and I know I've got 500 calories left for an evening dessert. I would simply select under meal, desserts, and then under the calories per portion, I'm going to select below 500. If I then click filter, I'm going to only see those recipes that fall within those categories. When I find a recipe that I like, for example, the banana and peanut butter flapjacks, to view it, I simply click either the image or the download button, and then it opens as a PDF that I can then save to my device, as I showed earlier with the recipe of the week. Just to go over that again, you simply click the share button next to the web address, scroll right, and then click on Save to Files to save the PDF. Now if I go back to the recipe page, all of these recipes are then also contained within the original recipe books. So at the moment they're all individualized, but you may want to download them as a full recipe book so that you've got them to keep forever. These are all available if you scroll all right down to the bottom of the page in this recipe book section here. There's 12 different volumes. As you can see here, there's a vegan edition as well, a smoothie edition, as well as a Christmas special edition as well. All the others are just generic multi-mixed recipes that you'll be able to enjoy at any time of the year. Simply click on the name, and that will then open up the full recipe book, which again you'll be able to download onto your device. And then again you scroll through, find all the different recipe options, all categorized in the contents page, and then you can save this as per a full PDF. This is something I definitely recommend you do, because in the future, when you're not under the guidance of my coaching, you may want to reuse these recipes, and this is going to be an easier way to actually save all the recipes together in one place on your device. So I definitely recommend you go again to the share button and save the PDF to your device. So if we now close this page and then go back to the portal, and if we move down onto the next page on the left hand side menu and click on Eating Out Guides, The eating out guides page is going to be another really useful addition for you, as it will allow you to be able to continue planning your meals and sticking to your nutritional guidelines whenever you grab food out on the go or eat a restaurant meal with your family or friends. Basically, this is a list of all the main high street food outlets and restaurants you might see in your local area that when you open, for example, if I click on the Ask button and the Download button here, it will show you all of the nutritional information for their main regular menu options. So if I scroll down, whether you're having bread, nibbles, starters or sharers, or main meal, for example meat, fish, pizzas, etc., for every single recipe option you've got the calories in the first hand column, then you've got your protein, your carbs, some have fibres, some have sugars, then you've got your fats and also your salt. Basically meaning that whenever you're out on the go, there is no excuse as to why you can't still stick to your nutritional guidelines that I'm setting for you in your plan. This will make it a lot easier for you to progress week to week and enhance your long-term adherence to your plan. Again, just like with the recipes, you can save these to your device by clicking on the share button and again scrolling to the right to save to files. Okay, now if we click the X button and go back to the portal, the next page down the left hand side menu is the help and support page. Here at the top is where all of the finalized portal tutorial videos will go. Like I said right at the very beginning, this is just a temporary video so we can get you started sooner rather than later. Once I get around to the final editing stage, all of the different pages that I've been through will have their own individual tutorial video that you'll be able to revisit and re-watch at any time here at the top of this page. Beneath this are all the frequently asked questions I get about online coaching or personal training, whichever one you're signed up to. And then if you want to see the answer to these questions, simply click on the plus button. That will then open the answer below that you can work your way through if you've got any concerns or any questions that you might want answering. If at any point there's a question that you can't find on here and you'd like to know the answer to, the next page will certainly help, because the next page down is where you can contact me directly. So if you click on Contact Martin, that will allow you to then type in a message or a question and then click Submit. I will then get this to my end and I'll reply to you as soon as I can. Just a quick note on this: if you send a message to me after 4 PM or before 6 AM, it might just take me a couple of hours to get back to you, but I will always do my very best to get back to you ASAP. So if I go back to the dashboard now, that covers everything you need to know about the portal. Now, like I said right at the very end there, if there's anything you're unsure of, any questions you have, so once you've logged in for the first time, spend some time to explore the dashboard, explore each individual page like I've been through just in the past few minutes, and then if there's anything you're unsure of or you want me to clarify for you, please don't hesitate to send me a message by clicking on the Contact Martin page, and I will explain hopefully in a lot more detail if needs be. I'll also be in touch in the next few days with regards to your first week's targets and what I'd like you to be completing in regards to your exercise and following in terms of your nutritional guidelines.